My wife has a brutal case of germophobia. We have been married for 3 years, and she treats any food I touch like dirt. But yesterday, I literally watched her finish the leftover rice from her male assistant's bowl. I did not make a huge scene, and I did not expose her right then. Instead, the next day, I treated her whole company to a massive feast. As everyone prepared to leave, I stood up in front of the entire room. I scraped every scrap of leftover food from the table into her bowl. Eat every single grain, I ordered, or we get a divorce today. That afternoon, my wife called out of nowhere. She claimed she had to work late and could not make it home for our dinner. A buddy of mine invited me out instead, so we grabbed hot pot. Walking past a restaurant, my friend pointed through the large front window. "Doesn't that look exactly like your wife?" I stepped closer to check. Even though I was only looking at the back of her head, I knew it was Su Wangqing instantly. And the guy sitting directly across from her was none other than Chen Yu, her new assistant. He had been at the firm for barely a month. Chen Yu frowned, staring nervously at the leftover egg-fried rice sitting in his bowl. The very next second, Su Wangqing reached over and grabbed that half-empty dish right out of his hands. She lowered her head and shoveled down every single grain. I completely froze, standing outside the window in pure shock. Su Wangqing has paralyzing germophobia. We have been married for 3 long years. We always use separate plates and utensils. One time I forgot to use the serving spoons and grabbed a piece of fish for her. She instantly dumped her entire plate of dinner right into the trash can, along with the fish. Even in the bedroom, she insists on intense layers of protection. That is exactly why we are still childless after 3 years of marriage. But right now, she is literally eating a younger man's leftovers. I pushed through the front door and marched right over. I stared at the empty bowl in front of her, smiling tightly. Was it delicious? The soft look in Su Wangqing's eyes morphed into pure panic. "Honey, Chen Yu could not finish his meal. There was a lot left, and I hate wasting food, so I ate it. Do not overthink this." I kept my calm smile and replied, "I thought you were working late tonight?" "Finished the job already?" she stammered. There were some sudden changes to the big project, so we did not have to rush the overtime. Before Su Wangqing could even finish her sentence, Chen Yu interrupted. "Mr. Liu, you have never had a real job. Sudden changes like this happen all the time." I glared at Chen Yu standing right there. "Did I ask for your opinion? Why are you interrupting?" He immediately put on a pathetic, victimized pout. Su Wangqing quickly grabbed my arm in a total panic. "I only took him out to dinner. We are just work colleagues. Please do not scare him." Chen Yu gently tugged at her sleeve. "Can you drive me home? It is really hard to catch a cab right now." Su Wangqing looked at me pleadingly. "Honey, you are not angry, right? Let me drop Chen Yu off first." I did not object. I just smiled and told her to go ahead. She immediately grabbed his arm, turned away, and bolted out the door without a backward glance. I pretended everything was completely normal, finishing my meal and casually chatting with my friend. Fast forward to the end of the workday tomorrow. I stormed right into her executive office. "All right, everyone stop what you are doing. You are off early. I am treating the team to an expensive dinner." Nobody moved an inch until Su Wangqing finally sighed and said, "You can all go." Only then did the staff pack up their desks and follow me to the nice restaurant. Putting my chopsticks down, I asked the room loudly, "Did everyone eat well?" They all nodded, completely full. So I flagged a waiter to bring a massive bowl and set it directly in front of Su Wangqing. Then I stood up, scraping the cold, half-eaten leftovers from every single plate into that giant dish right in front of her. Su Wangqing stared at me, totally bewildered. I gave her a bright smile. "Eat up. You hate wasting food, remember? So finish these leftovers from your lovely office employees." The mood in the private dining room tanked instantly. Su Wangqing's face flushed dark red. "Honey, I am already full," she whispered. I ignored her pathetic excuses completely and snapped back at her coldly. "You are not leaving this table until you swallow every single bite in that bowl." Chen Yu jumped up abruptly. "Mr. Liu, you have been a stay-at-home husband for 3 years. You never check the price tag on anything, all because you leech off President Su. And now, over some petty issue, you want to humiliate her in public? How incredibly childish can you be?" I looked at her furious, flushed face and smirked. "Eat up, honey. You can eat Chen Yu's leftovers, right? Why reject your other employees? Playing favorites, are we?" Su Wangqing shot me a panicked look, then stared down at the massive pile of mushy rice. She hesitated for a long, painful moment, before finally picking up her chopsticks and shoveling the cold food into her mouth in large, desperate bites. Beside her, Chen Yu panicked and practically screamed. "President Su, please stop doing this. You are going to completely ruin your stomach. Why are you obeying him like a dog? He is a loser, who does not earn a single dime. What gives him the right to boss you around?" Chen Yu snatched the chopsticks straight out of my wife's trembling hands. "Stop eating. He does not care about you, but I do," I laughed coldly. "You love caring for another man's spouse, huh? Then you eat it." He backed away. "My stomach is too small. I cannot possibly finish that." "You are just bullying me," I sneered. "Then keep your mouth shut." With that, I grabbed a fresh pair of chopsticks and shoved them towards Su Wangqing. "Eat it all. Did you not claim to love eating leftovers? She took the sticks and resumed, forcing the greasy rice down. She could barely swallow, gagging and violently retching non-stop as her body convulsed. Finally, her stomach gave out. She doubled over and aggressively threw up all over the floor. Standing beside her, Chen Yu looked so incredibly heartbroken that tears literally streamed down his face. He rubbed my wife's back tenderly with one hand and pointed an angry finger at me. What kind of garbage man are you? You do not deserve to be her husband. You offer zero support to her career. You just cause drama over nothing and make her miserable. I chuckled darkly. I do not deserve it. Let me guess, you do? Desperate to take my place? He stammered. President Su and I maintain a strictly professional working relationship. Do not spout crazy rumors. I crossed my arms. Oh yeah? Prove it. Resign from your job today. He scoffed. Why the hell would I quit? I am performing exceptionally well at my role. Su Wangqing was still weeping. Looking right at the kid, I suddenly spoke up. You are fired. Chen Yu froze, staring in absolute shock, his face crumbling like he was about to start sobbing. He dragged out the syllables, crying out in a pathetic, shaking voice, President Su. Su Wangqing, the woman who had literally never raised her voice at me, suddenly exploded. She slammed her hands on the table and stood up. You have no authority to fire my staff. I walked straight past her to Chen Yu, raising my hand, and slapped him twice. True, I hold no corporate title, so I do not have the power to fire him. But as her husband, I have every right to slap him. Su Wangqing quickly yanked the crying assistant into her arms to protect him. You are completely out of line, she screamed. Fine. Yesterday, when I caught her eating his scraps, she might have felt a tiny shred of guilt towards me. But, right now, even that pathetic little drop of remorse was entirely gone. I have spoiled you way too much, she spat. That is exactly why you act so arrogant and reckless. As punishment, I am freezing every single bank card you have. Chen Yu, who had just been violently crying seconds ago, perked up the moment he heard my finances were getting cut off. The corners of his mouth twitched wildly, fighting a massive grin. Oh, President Su, is that really a good idea? Mr. Liu was supposed to pay the check for everyone today. If you freeze all of his credit cards, how on earth will he cover the bill? This banquet costs at least $10,000. That amount is enough to file a police report. If I couldn't foot the bill, the security guards would likely drag me away. Su Wanqing took a deep breath and said, just apologize to Chen Yu, and I will let this whole thing go today. Hearing that, my blood boiled. I pointed straight at Chen Yu. You want me to apologize to him?
Are you crazy, or am I?
Chen Yu pretended to be the nice guy, pleading with my wife. President Su, I am just a lowly assistant. It is no big deal if I suffer. It is my fault. Mr. Liu, please do not be mad at President Su. I will apologize to you. Chen Yu faked out grabbing my wrist, but he actually dug his nails in deep. It hurt like hell. I shook him off. Get lost. I hardly even pushed the guy, but Chen Yu launched himself backward like a stuntman. He crashed hard into the dining table, sending plates and bowls shattering onto the floor. He tumbled down into the mess, getting completely soaked in oil and sauce. A broken plate sliced his hand open, leaving a nasty gash. Blood dripped onto the tiles. Loser, you have gone way too far. Su Wanqing raised her hand and slapped me hard across the cheek. The sheer force snapped my head to the side. I felt the corner of my mouth. A weird metallic taste hit my tongue. Suddenly, a strange sense of relief washed over me. Are you blind? He grabbed me first, and I barely used any force at all. He faked the entire fall. Su Wanqing just ignored me and helped Chen Yu up. She used the silk birthday scarf I gave her to bandage his bleeding hand. That scarf had her name on it. I stitched it myself. Now, those characters were soaked red with Chen Yu's blood. Let us leave. Su Wanqing wrapped her arm around his shoulder and walked out without a single glance back. The remaining guests quickly made their excuses and sprinted out of there. I stood completely alone in that massive private room. A waiter knocked and slowly he pushed the door open. Would you like to settle the bill now? I reached into my bag and handed him a credit card. He swiped it once and the machine flashed insufficient funds. Sorry, sir, this card declined. I handed over a second card. Insufficient balance again. I tried 7 different cards. Every single one bounced. Su Wanqing had actually frozen all my accounts. The waiter just stared at me, unblinking. Sir, do you have an alternative payment method? I tried calling my best friend, but I had no clue where he was. He ignored my calls and completely ghosted my text messages. The waiter and I just stood there in brutal awkwardness. Do not worry, I will absolutely cover this. But the waiter lost his patience. He grabbed his radio. Manager Wu, we have a dine and dash here. Minutes later, the manager marched in with 2 cops. Sir, you need to come with us. I tried my best to explain, but the officers just heard cheap excuses. I was hauled into the local station to give a statement. That is when my buddy finally called me back. 20 minutes later, he burst into the precinct, paid the restaurant, and bailed me out. Standing outside the gates, I looked back and just started laughing. I am the sole heir to the Fat-Yu group for crying out loud. How did I end up arrested over a dinner bill? My circle would laugh themselves sick if they found out. I just wanted to be a supportive husband to a fiercely ambitious career woman. But I never imagined that after I helped Su Wanqing reach the very top, the the first throat she would cut would be mine, the man who loved her. I truly never saw this brutal backstabbing coming from my own wife. Clearly, I chose the wrong woman from day one. When I finally arrived at my front door, a pair of men's leather dress shoes sat outside. They were the exact pair Chen Yu wore today. Su Wanqing heard the front door and walked out of the master bedroom. Our eyes locked instantly. Without a single word, I barged right past her. Inside, Chen Yu was standing completely shirtless. He was wearing my wife's silk pajama pants. They were tight and cropped, and he was casually towel drying his hair. The guy clearly just finished showering in my private master bathroom. Seeing this twisted scene in my house, I saw red. I turned, pointed straight at Su Wanqing, and exploded. You let your own husband get arrested, and then dragged your assistant back to our house. Wow, you are really something else, she rolled her eyes. Do not get the wrong idea. His clothes were ruined, and our house was nearby. So I brought him here to wash up. You hate people touching your stuff, right? So I gave him my pants. Su Wanqing had this incredibly smug, matter-of-fact look on her face, acting like I was the crazy one. Wait, aren't you a massive germaphobe? We literally wash our laundry in separate machines, but he gets to wear your pants? So your obsessive hygiene rule only applies to your husband? Chen Yu put on that pathetic fake innocent expression again. Mr. Liu, please do not misunderstand. President Su is gifting these to me. She will not wear them again. Did I ask for your opinion? I snapped. My wife and I are having a conversation. Why the hell do you keep opening your mouth in my house? Chen Yu looked like a kicked puppy, tears welling up. I just did not want you fighting over me. That made my blood boil hotter. Oh, how noble of you. Su Wanqing yelled right back. Loser, drop it. You caused a scene at dinner, and now you are throwing a tantrum at home. I roared. Do you think I enjoy this? Chen Yu gently tugged on her sleeve. Forget it, President Su. He is your husband. A lowly assistant like me can handle a little insult. She scoffed. So what if he is my husband? That does not give him any right to bully you. Watching them play this sick romantic game in my bedroom, I went dead cold. Let us get a divorce, Su Wanqing. She froze, completely blindsided by my words. Over this? You want to divorce me over a tiny misunderstanding? You think bringing him here is a tiny thing? She rolled her eyes. Nothing happened. He is fresh out of college. I am just mentoring him. What is the crime? Staring at her arrogant, dismissive face, my patience snapped. I do not want my wife playing mommy to other grown men. It makes me sick. Su Wanqing shrieked like a stepped-on cat. She exploded instantly. Fine. You want out? Then you leave this house with absolutely zero. If we divorce today, you are walking away with nothing. No marital assets, no cash, nothing. My money and this house belong to me. Without my paycheck, you will starve on the streets. Furious, she grabbed her phone, demanding her lawyer draft the papers immediately. Within an hour, a suited lawyer hand-delivered the documents. I signed my name without a single hesitation. Seeing my signature, Su Wanqing snatched the pen and aggressively signed hers too. Chen Yu was biting his lip, trying not to grin. Bet, you cannot even afford dinner tonight. I pointed straight at the front door. Get the hell out. He scoffed. Who are you to kick me out? President Su invited me. I glared at him. We have not finalized the paperwork yet. I am still the man of this house. Get out right now. Hearing my shout, Su Wanqing immediately pulled the assistant behind her. This property is in my name. You are the one leaving. She snapped her fingers, ordering the maids to bag up all my stuff. They tossed my life onto the pavement. Soon, my clothes and boxes formed a pathetic little hill by the villa gates. Unbothered, I pulled out my phone and texted my private family group chat. Uncles, I just got divorced. Su Wanqing threw me out onto the street. The billionaire group chat exploded instantly. Notifications flooded my screen, one after another. The family chat blew up. Su Wanqing has had it too good for too long. How dare she treat our precious nephew this way? She forgot who got her there. She definitely has a death wish. All right, stop talking and let us take action now. I just stood by the villa entrance, watching. Messages flooded the chat. Chen Yu stood by the door, crossing his arms and glaring at me. Why haven't you left yet? Are you just too reluctant to go? You will never live here again. Even getting another look at this luxury villa will be impossible for you. Just as he was happily gloating over my downfall, a prosecutor's vehicle rolled up to the property. When it stopped right at the villa gates, Su Wanqing and Chen Yu froze. 3 federal prosecutors stepped out. They slapped an official seizure seal on the front door. Su Wanqing rushed the officers. What right do you have to seal my house? Who authorized this? One prosecutor stepped forward. Here's our ID and the seizure notice. You were reported for abusing your executive position to embezzle corporate assets. We are legally taking control of your property. Not just this villa, but everything. Can you believe all her assets were getting seized? Su Wanqing panicked. That is impossible. Who reported me? Do you even have proof? All senior executives at Feiyu Group filed a joint report. We already have solid evidence. A joint report? That cannot be true. Right then, her phone rang. She answered, and a frantic voice came through. President Su, all board members voted to remove you. You are suspended from duty, effective immediately. What did you just say? What right do they have to fire me? Hanging up, Su Wanqing paced furiously. The veins on her forehead throbbed. Chen Yu was terrified by this rapid downfall. Why is the house sealed? Is someone messing with us behind our backs? Su Wanqing was completely losing it. Why are those old executives ganging up on me out of nowhere? When did they get so united? Something is definitely fishy here. Right then, my personal driver pulled up. Sorry, young master, I am late. There was traffic. I waved my hand dismissively. Just put my stuff in the car first. Then I pointed at my luggage. I do not want most of this. Just load these few items. Su Wanqing froze instantly. You have a driver? Why did he call you, young master? Before I married you, I actually was a young master. Did you really think my dad handing you the group made you the real owner? Fei Yu belongs to the Liu family. Did you really think a mere CEO could defeat me, the guy holding 50% of the corporate shares, and oust the chairman? Su Wanqing stared at me, totally stunned. Why do you own half Fei Yu's shares? Duh. Obviously I do. My dad would never hand corporate shares to an outsider. Su Wanqing just laughed. Are you out of your mind? That share transfer requires my signature. I have not signed it yet, making that contract a worthless piece of paper. Plus, the document clearly states that if we ever get divorced, it automatically becomes void, and the shares transfer to me. My dad told me before he passed, I replied, after you serve 3 full years in office, all shares automatically transfer to me. I hit that 3-year mark last month. That contract took effect ages ago. Wow, you and your dad plotted to trick me. I slaved away for years and this is your grand scheme? I end up with nothing. Oh, you got something, I said, glancing at Chen Yu. You got the girl, didn't you? Su Wanqing's face turned green with absolute rage. I kept talking. You should be grateful. At least you lived well for 3 whole years. To the outside world, it looked like I relied on you. But the truth is, you leached off the Liu family. You are not real family. You should have stayed in your lane. Who knew 3 years as an executive director would make you think you were the boss? You are just a Liu family employee. Without me, you are nothing. You would still be pushing sales for some random startup. She yelled back. I was the one who helped you run the group. Besides, I am cleaner than those PR girls. If you had just stayed a dutiful wife, maybe I would have given you everything. But now? You disappointed me. Su Wanqing stood there, her expression growing darker by the minute, but I pressed on relentlessly. You should have kept pretending. If you had held on for a few more months, I would have signed it. Once you had the company shares, it would have taken way more effort to remove you as CEO. Your huge mistake was lacking patience. You could not keep up the act. Su Wanqing looked absolutely stunned. The board of directors voting to remove me, that was all you, wasn't it? Exactly. The board members are like uncles to me. They worked with my dad for half their lives. They are his closest friends, treating me like family. They only cooperated with you out of respect for me. Did you think they actually respected you as executive director? It was only because you married into the Liu family. Otherwise, do you really think you could control business veterans who have played the market for decades? You are way too overconfident. Su Wanqing pulled her hair, face bright red with frustration. Chen Yu still had no clue what was going on. President Su, dude, what is he talking about? What does he mean Fei Yu Group belongs to the Liu family? Why does he own those shares? I just looked over and smiled. Chen Yu, did you skip the company history lesson when you joined? Looks like you slept through onboarding training. If you had paid even a little bit of attention, you would know Fei Yu's founder is named Liu. My father, Liu Hong. Chen Yu was completely dumbfounded, his jaw practically hitting the floor for ages. Seeing his pathetic expression, I asked sarcastically, didn't you say I lack the power to fire you? Then I turned to Su Wanqing. You also said I don't have the right to fire your employees. Tomorrow I officially take over Fei Yu as the new chairman. I will publicly announce the decision to fire both of you, right in front of senior management. Simultaneously, I am issuing an industry-wide ban. Any business partnering with Fei Yu will be strictly forbidden from hiring either of you. This is what happens when you cross me. President Su, Liu is just bluffing, right? He cannot possibly ban me from the industry. And you are not actually stepping down, right? Honey, I think we need to talk. Stop right there, I snapped. We signed the divorce papers. Do not call me honey. Su Wanqing was crying. We do not have the official certificate yet. We are still legally husband and wife. Besides, I only wanted to scare you. I never actually wanted a divorce. So throwing my stuff out and freezing my bank cards was just a scare tactic? I was furious at that moment. Please forgive me. I will get your credit cards reactivated right now. I snapped back. I don't need them anymore. Besides, all your assets are frozen. Those cards are completely useless now anyway. With that, I yanked every single credit card from my bag and chucked them right at Su Wanqing, one by one. Then I spun around and climbed straight into the executive town car that just arrived. She suddenly lunged at the window. Honey, get out. Please don't leave. Let's talk this through. But the doors were locked tight. She yanked the handle, completely desperate, but we sped off. Su Wanqing just stood there in the dust. My driver took me straight back to the old family mansion. Let me paint a picture for you. The location beats her villa easily, styled like a medieval castle. It takes over 30 staff members to run, from gardeners to cleaners. chefs, butlers, and bodyguards. Overall, it is incredibly comfortable and highly secure. Honestly, sleeping in a new bed felt a little strange at first. Lying there in the quiet dark, my mind drifted right back to when I first met Su Wang-king. Just to close a business deal, she literally blocked a manager's moving car. Even after getting knocked down to the pavement, she stood right back up. Limping over, she fiercely pitched her corporate products. That relentless drive hooked me instantly. I figured a woman that tough could easily help me run a massive enterprise like the Faiyu Group. That way, I could enjoy my passions, traveling, growing flowers, and living a totally stress-free life off the grid. And honestly, I did not misjudge her business skills. She really delivered results. She ran Faiyu brilliantly. Even when she abused her executive power to pocket extra corporate perks, I just turned a blind eye. Honestly, the only real requirement I had was for her to be a loyal wife while playing the CEO. Early the next morning, I threw on a tailored business suit and stepped out right on time. I took the car straight to the corporate headquarters. When I walked into the main boardroom, the directors and top executives were already seated. The second I stepped inside, thunderous applause filled the room. Everyone was grinning from ear to ear. My uncles had mentioned this months ago. They had been eagerly waiting for me to finally return and take full control of the company. Barely 2 minutes later, Su Wang-king marched in, with Chen Yu trailing like a lost puppy. I stood tall at the head of the boardroom table. Everyone is present. I am officially announcing the board's final decision. Su Wang-king is immediately removed from her executive post for corporate embezzlement. Furthermore, Chen Yu, assistant to the CEO, falsified his degree and failed our strict hiring requirements. He is officially fired. Chen Yu froze in pure shock. He never imagined that I would uncover his fake background. Your diploma is forged? Su Wang-king gasped. Mrs. Su, let me explain. I actually got into a top university, but I dropped out over health issues. If you need to explain, take it out to the hallway, I snapped. This is a high-level management meeting. Get out of my building right now. Oh, and Su Wang-king? Pack your desk immediately. I am claiming that office today. If your junk is still there when this board meeting wraps up, I am having security toss it straight into the dumpster. When I strolled into the CEO suite later, those two were still lingering. Without skipping a beat, I ordered my new executive assistant to call building security and clear out every last piece of their trash. My new assistant is brilliant, a top-tier university graduate my uncle handpicked just for me. Ignoring the chaos, I walked right over to Chen Yu's desk and grabbed a framed photo. You and I both know exactly what this implies. It was an incredibly intimate picture of him and my wife. Displaying this at work? Anyone who sees this would assume you're her husband. Chen Yu snatched the frame right out of my hands. Don't touch my things. I'm not her husband yet, but trust me, I absolutely will be in the near future. I smirked. Then I wish you the best of luck with that. Su Wangking shoved Chen Yu away violently. Shut up. I am never getting a divorce. I was just angry before, acting petty. I never actually wanted to end our marriage. I rolled my eyes. Okay, save your breath. I know I crossed the line. I'll fire Chen Yu and you can run the whole company. I already fired him. I shot back. And I fired you too. You have zero authority to make staffing decisions here. You always thought you were some brilliant visionary, right? Convinced. This entire core empire was built on your own genius? Step outside and try. Let's see if your so-called talent ever lands you another executive CEO role. Honey, we have been married for 3 whole years. You cannot be this absolutely heartless just because I took care of my young assistant. You want a divorce and to strip my shares? How can you be this cold-blooded? It is precisely because you took care of him that I am divorcing you and throwing you out of my enterprise. Su Wangking would be absolutely nothing without my backing. The only reason you climbed the corporate ladder and secured real power at Faiyu is because I tolerated your insane neurotic quirks, demanding separate dinner portions, using completely different utensils, forcing us to run separate laundry loads every day. Hell, even during intimacy, you made me stay completely covered in the dark. I swallowed my pride and accepted it. But how does a massive germaphobe happily eat that boy's half-finished leftovers? And why let him shower in our master bathroom? Why give him your personal white pajama pants? I yelled all of this right in front of the entire executive office staff. I spilled every dirty little secret without holding back. The employees' faces dropped instantly. They stared at the cheating pair with utter disgust, heavy judgment, and even pure anger over the betrayal. Su Wangking, maybe you never actually loved me. Putting your bizarre germophobia aside, I will admit you played the part of a decent wife for 3 years. And I paid you handsomely for it. I owe you nothing. You owe me nothing. We are completely even. Chen Yu scoffed. President Su doesn't love you because you're the problem. And you are controlling and totally incapable of showing affection. I am absolutely nothing like you. I actually know how to cherish President Su, and that is why she treats me right. I laughed. That is because our social standing is entirely different. You are dating way up. Of course you have to beg and grovel to Su Wangking. I am the actual boss. I don't bow to anyone. That is the massive difference between you and me. Bullshit, you are the one who never cared. My love for her is totally pure. I smiled coldly. Oh, so it is true romance? Then when she gets convicted of massive corporate embezzlement and the government seizes her bank accounts and throws her behind bars, I really hope you still hold her hand like this. Chen Yu paled. Wait, what did you just say? Seize her property? Jail time? That is impossible. You are just bluffing to scare me. Beside him, Su Wangqing was trembling, absolutely paralyzed with fear. How much shady business she actually pulled, well, you and I are about to find out. Suddenly, she collapsed to her knees, desperately grabbing my arm. She burst into loud, ugly tears, begging honey, please. For the sake of our 3-year marriage, I ripped my arm away in disgust. I am begging you, please. I cannot survive in prison. I stared down. Begging me won't help. It is the federal law that wants your head now. If you surrender the stolen assets, maybe the judge goes easy on you, she wailed. I threw it all into failed investments. It's gone. Everything is gone. Even if I liquidate all the assets under my name to clear the debt, it won't be enough. I glanced over at Chen. Don't you still have your little lover right here? Why not ask him to help you raise some cash? Where would I get that kind of money? I'm just a regular employee. Haven't even worked a full month or gotten my first paycheck. President Su, don't take his words to heart. He's probably just trying to scare you. Honey, I'll use all my properties to pay off this debt. I'll pay back the rest over time. I really don't want to go to prison. I'm begging you. Just give me a chance to turn over a new leaf. I stared at her coldly. When you froze every single one of my bank cards and I couldn't pay that restaurant bill, did you ever stop to think the police might detain me for dining and dashing? I didn't think of that. I just wanted to scare you a bit. And even though I froze your accounts, you still paid the bill in the end, right? With so many friends, you obviously would have found a way out. I scoffed. I never imagined I'd be publicly mocked by restaurant staff for a decline card and actually dragged into a police station. You completely and utterly humiliated me. Now it's time you learned your lesson. Instead of begging me, you better find a solid defense attorney and pray for a shorter prison sentence. Su Wangqing collapsed onto the floor, completely shattered. She finally realized I wasn't going to show her an ounce of mercy. Chen Yu quickly crouched beside her. President Su, don't scare me like this. I know you're the most capable CEO ever. You can definitely survive this. Su Wangqing burst into tears, gripping Chen's arm like a drowning woman clinging to a lifeline. Chen Yu, if I lose absolutely everything, tell me, will you still stay by my side? Of course I will. I genuinely care about you, President Su. All right then, bring me the designer watches and jewelry I bought you. We need to sell them all. We'll liquidate them to help cover these massive corporate debts. I have absolutely nowhere to live right now, so I'll need to move into your apartment. Wait, President Su, are you joking? How can you ask for my gifts back? And my place is tiny. There's no way 2 adults can squeeze in there. Look, even though your main assets are seized, you must have hidden funds under your name, right? Can't we just crash at your parents' house? Don't panic. No matter how rough this gets, I'll stay right beside you. You can stop clinging to false hope, I interrupted. Su Wangqing is totally wiped out, a penniless fraud owing tens of millions. Slowly, Chen Yu loosened his grip on her. Do you seriously have nothing left, Chen Yu? What is that supposed to mean? She panicked. Didn't you promise to stick by me and help me rebuild my startup? Chen Yu jumped up, visibly disgusted. You're drowning in debt and fired from the company. How are you supposed to bounce back? I honestly thought you were some untouchable corporate boss. Turns out you're just a parasite surviving off men. What a massive waste of my time. You're no elite executive. Why walk around acting so high and mighty, as if that tech firm actually belonged to you? Su Wangqing stared at him, wide-eyed with pure shock, and slowly climbed to her feet. What the hell are you saying? Were all those sweet promises nothing but a scam for my bank account and status? Chen Yu crossed his arms, entirely unapologetic. Look, who doesn't want to date a wealthy woman for an easy, luxurious ride? I'm young and good-looking. Obviously, my plans was to marry into the upper class. Poverty is a trap, and I have zero intention of getting dragged down into yours. Exactly what I'm looking for is a powerful woman who helps me climb the ladder, a real boss with a black card I can swipe blindly, not some pathetic fraud who exploits men to get ahead, and is also completely worthless and ungrateful. You hypocrite, you've ruined my entire life, she screamed. Hypocrite? What did I actually do to you? All those cheap gifts you bought barely break $1 million anyway. Su Wangqing completely lost it. She lunged forward, choking Chen Yu by the collar. I am going to destroy you, you shameless bastard. With one furious shove, she slammed him into the floor. The back of his skull cracked against the sharp corner of a coffee table, knocking him out cold. I calmly called an ambulance for him. Su Wangqing was immediately dragged away by patrol officers for aggravated assault. Fast forward 1 month, I finalized my divorce settlement with her. The criminal investigation into her corporate embezzlement wrapped up shortly after, and Chen Yu practically vanished overnight. Word around town was he couldn't land a single interview. His parents dragged him back to their village to marry a wealthy widow and raise her kids. Meanwhile, I ran into my old high school friend at our class reunion. Turns out she's now a high-level executive on Wall Street. We hit it off, fell in love, and tied the knot. Now? She's 8 months pregnant. 3 years flew by in a flash. One sunny afternoon, my wife and I were browsing a boutique, picking out some premium baby gear. Suddenly I spotted a very familiar face outside. He was digging through a public trash can. My wife and I stepped out to the sidewalk with our shopping bags. We locked eyes for a split second. He stared down at my wife's baby bump, opened his mouth like he wanted to speak, but stayed dead silent. Finally, my wife asked me, "Do you know that guy?" I just smiled. "No, let's go home."